What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Blazer Golf Podcast. In this podcast, we talk about topics across the entire world of golf alongside our personal stories and experiences as NCAA Division III athletes. If you aren't already following us on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and our socials, the links to everything will be found in the description. Today on this episode of the Blazer Golf Podcast, we are joined by Liam, me, and myself, and our first guest that we've ever had on the podcast.
I'm Matt. Nice to meet you guys, and it's nice to finally be on my own golf team's podcast.
You've missed two episodes.
Two episodes.
Yeah.
But Matt, how are you doing, man?
No,
do you want to introduce yourself a little bit?
All right.
Let's give some backstory to Matt the Wood here.
A little background.
I mean, freshman entrepreneurship major, following in Liam's footsteps, and honestly, I mean, from Holyoke, and it's just I'm happy to finally be on the podcast. I mean,
you're missing out a lot.
I mean, I won't lie to you guys. I mean, I'm not the best on the golf team. Definitely not. I mean, I'm not the worst now. I was for a decent bit of the season, but stuff changes. People get added to the team, and
you get better. You're improving.
I mean, I do get better. I mean, I think it was like an 18-shot improvement from the first round to the second round. It was like a one.
It's a grind. Hey guys, Matt over here is a great guy to have on the squad. We're very thankful to have him. He fills out our team. Good vibes, and you work hard. You work hard at golf. You work hard in everything. We've talked about that before too. Like, you were at work before this. You were talking about earlier in the pod before we started up. Like, start us off, Liam.
Well, the concept of competitive golf at like a high school, D3, D1 level.
Yeah.
A lot of people when I tell people I play golf at college. Like they would assume, you're really good, and it's like.
Well, you are. You're a talented player.
But I just want to talk on the levels that goes upon, because even in high school, like, I was the number one on my team, but that's because we had, like, no depth. And also, like, if I was in a different part of the country, then I'd be even cut from the team. So it's all relative. But I want to get into the details of, like, when you're in competition, high school, D3, D1, and then even like amateur golf after college, and like just the players you're playing with, who you kind of see in like your groups, like what tendencies these players actually have to do.
No, and like I see what you're coming from, and like for me, high school golf was a little bit different because my freshman year we were pretty decent because the year before they went to Western Mass. They won that. They ended up losing in states, but it was still a pretty decent season, and they ended up losing all of their best guys. They go down to my freshman class and, like, all the seniors. There was a few good ones, but still weren't that good. But then at that point, we're stacked in a super high division. And
everybody just fell out.
Yeah. And then,
yikes.
And then I'm a sophomore. Oh, my God, our team was awful. I mean, I think we might have won one game. Dude. And at that point, it was a joke. And it was, it was kind of a joke. And all the way up until my senior year where we recruited a few more guys and everything, it was just, we were awful. And, like, our senior year, I think we ended up winning, like, 3 matches. And me saying that, I was like the 4 on the team. It was either the 4 or the 5.
What were you shooting around that time?
We were only playing 9 holes. It was more like, and mainly,
over under 50.
Oh, mainly under.
Oh, yeah. Attaboy.
No, yeah.
Dude.
And it wasn't, it wasn't
good,
that tough.
No, good looks.
Especially playing at, like, my home course and everything where we played.
Oh, you played it? Yeah.
Yeah, Wyckoff. But I remember we did play at Cold Spring one time, and over 50. Over 50.
Well, that's kind of
Cold Spring's a tough place.
I remember there was a few. Obviously, like when I played, you play like all the courses around like your county, and a lot of the courses would be like pretty easy because they're not playing from the tips.
It's like from the whites, right? Isn't that?
It depends. Whites depend on the course.
Yeah.
Okay. But so this is kind of where I come from. Like my high school, I think I've told you, both of you guys, like I went to a Division I golf high school, like Division I sports, all boys, super toxic. Sorry guys. But no, just a really stupid competitive high school. And I wasn't able to play my senior year because of COVID and a lot of interesting stories. So I tried out. I think I told both of you guys this story about me trying out. Played really well both tryout days, and was told I basically couldn't play because I was, away from home, so I couldn't like commute, which was like tough to hear. But I know I played pretty decent, played my golf. But aside from that, like I don't know a lot about high school golf.
Yeah.
Like I don't know.
Like you will get some high schools, especially like So I mean, depending on where you're from, like if you're in like down south, like everything's just super competitive. But like up in the Northeast, specifically Massachusetts, like even in like Central Mass, it's vastly different from Western Mass.
No, yeah.
We would have
Central's.
I mean, you could play with kids that like their number ones would shoot like mid-40s best. You know, like there's some schools that are just so not competitive. Like my school, my sophomore year or my freshman year, we had like a decent program. We had like 7 seniors, a good coach, and then 7 seniors graduated. I was the only returning player, no coach. I got like my brother and like 2 other people to play. We found a coach. From my sophomore to senior year, we won 1 match.
It's almost as ghetto as Elms, man. No, I'm just playing.
But,
I'm just playing.
Well, that's why I was excited to go to college because like that was gonna be I don't know, because I was not new to competitive golf, but like I still never was on like a team atmosphere.
Yeah.
And my whole high school was like individual performance, and you never had that. I never even had a thought of winning.
Yeah,
so
that's kind of crazy because 3 of the guys that I know, shout them out: Ethan Whitney, Ray Dennehy, and Jake Merva. Which I think Jake listens to the podcast. So Jake, you're a real one, and you were the only kid who was nice to me out of those 3. So you're a G. But those kids, like I think, what's his name? Ethan, like committed to some college, like and got almost a full ride. Like Ray is probably playing golf somewhere, being successful. Like super talented players, like great swings. And they just played really well. And I know Jake still plays. I think it is college. I don't know where you go, dude, but no, literally like the top 3 were like 2-3 under for 9 holes.
Mm-hmm.
Like talented players.
That's crazy. We had some players like that in my county. Far, like few and far though. Like I don't know. It was so weird because you think like when you think of college golf, I always thought like, oh, you have to be like low 70s, mid 70s, like tops, and like you gotta be like
a pipe dream,
dude.
It's a pipe dream, dude.
And then like when I was talking with our coach here and like committed to Helms.
Shout out to Adam, man.
Yeah.
Coach, you're a legend. We love you, man.
Just not on the basketball court.
Hey, listen.
I mean, the talent.
We
Listen.
But yeah, like I was always expecting and obviously we're in like a different phase than most schools as like competitive wise, like rebuilding, and we're finally like almost past that. It's weird to think that like from what I've seen in just this like brief time I've been here, like D3 golf around here is like similar to high school golf, but 18 holes.
Yes.
You get a lot of the same
Yes.
personalities.
Would you really say that?
Yes.
Like, I don't know.
You get a lot of the same kids. So in high school, like cheating was a big issue for a lot of kids. Like because they're so young and like,
they just don't care.
And they don't care, but 2, like it's almost like they care too much. And you don't. I feel like you still get a few of those kids like that here, and like
shout out to Adrian, man.
And just like some of the players you get like wearing headphones and shit, and like these tournaments and everything. I don't give a crap, but just like when you look at like the overall picture and like scope of golf and like tournaments, you would picture that, and they got like so it's definitely it's different than what I thought. I thought it was gonna be like super long rounds, not because of.
Don't get me wrong. Hey, they're long rounds.
Are long, not because of like the amount of people, but because of like everyone's gonna read their putt from like 4 angles and like take 10 practice swings, and you get those kids, but like just the same amount of time is like.
How you doing, ladies and gentlemen?
You're not that bad. You play fast.
Do I really?
In tournament, I don't know. Like we haven't played with
just
you.
Just not in the green.
I don't know. Well,
but like that's acceptable because you sink your putts, so that's all that counts.
I was gonna say I do not make
pace of play could be a whole other subject.
Yeah. We'll touch on that later.
Yeah.
So we kind of touched on high school.
And like but
D3, you think?
D3, like, and obviously like these are so broad. Like there's so many different like.
Yeah, D3 is broad. It depends on region. So
there's kids I know from that went to D3 and like they're like competitive D3. Like they are better than D1 schools. Like.
Well, that's why we're having this because people don't know.
Yeah, exactly. And like so, like when you tell someone you're a D3 athlete, like there's
a connotation that goes to that. Yeah,
we're D3 because we're such a small school, right?
Yeah, population.
And like because of that, you get a smaller number of
schools.
Students to choose from. But then there's schools that we play against in our tournaments that are nasty.
Tufts
with similar amount of kids. So
Tufts is a bigger school, but not massive.
Still D3.
Yeah, still D3. It's crazy.
When you think of I don't know, like it's really tough. You would assume that like a team like Elms or schools near us would have like a solid 5-6 golfers, But like you wouldn't be surprised if I told you like, man, like A lot of these schools, like,
Yeah, no, we don't.
it's one because especially in the Northeast, golf is just suffering with like kids to play, so you don't get all
it's
you don't get
tough.
all
It's
these-
waning, unfortunately.
like, there's a lot of good golfers, but
Tell you what though, like the thing about okay, so this is something I've actually thought about a lot. So when you compare skill level to region, right? You'll think a lot of the guys who are on tour that come from like South Carolina, Georgia, like Florida, like that area, right? You know, you play courses out there. It's a lot more. It's a lot less elevation.
Yeah.
You're not getting holes like one at Cold Spring, right? Like no shot. Like it's flatter. Granted, there's more hazard, there's more bunkers, there's more OB, but like the green complexes, I think the actual grass down there is just better maintained. Like I feel like a regular like Muni course in South or like down South is better than like a Muni course up here, just in terms of quality. You know what I mean? Because it takes a lot to maintain a golf course, and I feel like that really affects the talent as well. Like, you know, you get and like if you're learning like someone coming from someone who learned how to play golf like the last 2-3 years, like this is my 3rd year playing, like playing courses, my home course, which is tree lined, like learning how to play on that's tough. But when I go to courses, like there's a links course that's a few towns over, that's, you know, you can hit 3 fairways over and still hit back. Like there's no pressure to that.
The best courses.
Yeah, links golf is fun.
and that's
So I feel like when you hear like guys shooting like, you know, some tour players be like, oh man, I shot like 3 under when I was 15. Like don't get me wrong. Anything under par is great,
you
right?
still got to putt, you know.
Yeah, you still have to putt, and you play. You know, depending on how easy the course is, it doesn't matter. Like 3 under is 3 under, regardless of, you know, however the course looks or how hard it is. But at the same time, like, you know, what's easier, up and down hills with tree lines, or, you know, a few more bunkers and maybe some OB.
Yeah, and people try to like use like length as like a factor, like, oh yeah, the course up here is shorter. Dude, you literally have to hit 4
It's
iron off the
target
tee.
golf. There's so much
Yeah.
target golf.
And
It's
so
all target golf.
There's always that argument. It's tough because like it's so much harder to like get confidence on the courses out here. I feel like I remember playing.
I feel that.
Winbury
Yeah.
Hills, dude. I'd hit a duck hook and I was like still in the fairway, and I'm like, and then all of a sudden you hit a duck hook and you're in the fairway. Next thing you know, you don't care about your swing anymore.
Yeah,
you
Because you're so over it.
and you have a wedge into the green. You're like, dude.
You don't deserve it. Yeah, you feel like.
Whereas, like, if you hit a duck hook on, like, a tight course, all of a sudden, you're hitting from that same tee box, and now you don't want to hit 2 OB.
Yeah.
So it's a whole different, like, confidence thing. And
Well, that's why the competitive level for, like, the amateurs, like, I think that's why amateur golf is popular up here and also in Canada, because there's courses like that. It's all target golf. Like, name a course around here that you've played that's, like that, except for a few.
But I will be honest, like, the hardest courses I think I've ever played were, like, the tournaments this season. And, like, that's just because, like, high school golf, we didn't go, like, super far. And, like, I mean, me personally, I just never went really far to, like, play golf. And, like, just places up at the beach, but, like, they're never really tough, just, like, easy courses.
another thing, which I totally forgot to talk about, dude, like, when you're playing college tournaments, like, you know, they either, like, reserve the course for you for those 2 days, or, like, you know, you get the morning.
Oh, yeah.
They're cutting the greens. They're putting.
Oh, that's
they're
right.
tucking
Course conditions,
pins.
yeah.
They're putting pins, not for
Oh,
public
yeah.
play. High school, you're out. You're playing at what? Your match starts 3:30,
Exactly.
and like
Oh,
they're doing the
yeah,
same
that's
pin.
right.
They're doing the same pins as like
Everybody else.
like grandma freaking Bethy's playing on. You know, like they're not tucking the pins over bunkers, and you know,
Yeah.
on top of playing from forward tees too. Like,
Hmm.
yeah, it's
You think I think Castleton grew out the rough a little bit too, up in Vermont, like
Who
that
knows?
private course. But
who knows?
I mean I can kind of speak to that too. Like, when we had the Cold Spring tournament, you know, Frank literally told us he put the pins in himself. Like, he made brutal pins that second day. The second day, the far back right pin on 18.
Pins where he knows like there's
Oh.
subtle breaks that people.
Oh
don't
yeah,
read, and,
yeah.
you know,
And
yeah.
that shit we don't even know, and we play there all the time. Like, that's another thing. We touched up on course design last time very briefly, but I feel like tournaments and the way courses are set up, like sometimes tee boxes move too. Like, that can completely change the hole.
Like, what's his name? Frank. He was just, like, going around. Was he the one who was drawing, like, the OB line?
Yeah.
So, like, I just remember, like, him doing that and, like, all this other stuff, and nothing like that happened in high school. I mean, like, you'd start your match, and, like, yeah, there'd be like your coach driving around in a golf cart, but like there's no preparation, just like going along with a normal day. Just
And
like
also, it's 9 holes. Like
they're
it's
just
not-
like get
it's
it done. Like
you could have such a like I don't know like. There's arguments for both sides. Like, oh yeah, if it's 18 holes, you think you could have more time to shoot a better score. But like 9 holes, like if you have one good 9 holes, like how's like for this for example, twice in our tournaments this year, I shot under par on the front 9. My best round was 5 over. You know, like if it was 9-hole matches, I would have had 2 under par rounds. That looks a lot better than what it had. So it's
we
it's
just
a grind.
we just gotta start playing 9 holes.
Yeah, I'll tell them.
Yeah, we got to get coaches just play 9 holes.
But then like when you go from like D3 and like all the different levels of D3 to like D1, man, it's a whole different.
That's like the dream. Like we've talked about this too, Liam. Like you and I, like you were like, my expectation for college, like, oh, getting up at 4, like just work out, go out of the range, like hit balls, go to class virtually, and then hop on a plane. Like obviously, guys, that sounds awesome, right? Like that sounds great.
Like, that's kind of like Division 1 for basketball. You'd think like, oh, you're gonna travel.
Oh yeah, no,
states over,
yeah.
And like you're gonna wake up and your classes are a second priority. You know, not all D1 schools are like that, but
the ones that you see are.
Yeah, you know, the Oklahomas, the Stanfords.
Yeah, I mean, if you're like going pro, like maybe, but like it's just not really.
Like if we played in their tournaments, you would tell.
There's definitely a difference.
And not even only that, just the way they go about, like their misses are so good.
Well, yeah, because they play all the time. They have
but
people.
Not only that, but like, just like from a player perspective, like I believe like at some point, like true generational talent golfers or just like really good golfers have like not just luck, but like just like born with like really good instincts and swings and like ability to read greens and everything. So like when you're playing at that high of a level, like and you get those like the ones on their teams,
and
man, like you're playing against people that are shooting even on their worst day.
Yeah. Those are just the guys, right? Like
greens and regulation.
Green. Yeah, they're barely missing greens. They're just like wedge shots. Like they have their bag
300-yard drives every time.
Yeah.
You know?
Like and even the guys who aren't that long, like long iron play, like no matter where they lack in their game, either physically, like you know those guys have such a short game bag. Like their bag is endless. It's crazy.
And they're playing way longer courses.
Yeah,
you know,
it's just like
that's down south too.
But it's still.
They're longer courses, right? They're set up at 74, 72. But when you think about it, 7,200, like hot take, 7,200 yards on like flatter land is not long. It really isn't.
Depends on the conditions.
We'll think about it like name like a flat par 4 that we've played. Think about it.
5.
Okay.
Cold Spring, 8.
Okay. 5 at Cold Spring on a non-windy day. If you hit your driver bad, 8 iron. I mean, for you and I, Matt, you might have a little bit more. No offense.
Yeah.
But like, think about it. Like, if those D1 guys down there were like to come up here and play, dude, like, you know, flip wedge.
Not even.
Even when we pump drivers, like it's
I
still
have 80 yards.
80, 75 yards. Like,
and I don't know, like you said, their short game getting up and down every time, and like
it's filthy. They don't miss putts either.
Yeah, it's a whole like. I don't know. There's so much to it. Obviously, like golf's so much different than a lot of sports where like it's not just like.
It's hard to be subjective in golf.
Yeah, it's you can look at statistics, but you can also just like the scorecard doesn't have pictures, like, but if you just played with someone, if you played with a really good golfer, man, even if they had shot bad, you'd think like, man, like they should have shot like 5 under.
Yeah, because you can see it.
It's easy for us to shoot. Say we have a bad round, we're like, oh, we usually could have shot 8 shots better.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because those shots were out there because we shot, 80 or whatever. But those guys are shooting 72 and like they're leaving 5 shots out there.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's so much different. So.
Inside anything inside 15 feet, the hole is huge.
They're hitting the hole.
They're hitting the hole.
Yeah.
Like they don't miss.
If it's not going in, it's hitting the hole.
I feel like if you could putt year round though, or like if you could work on that shit year round.
A lot of the greens are pretty consistent. We go from like.
We have a 4-month absence. We're lucky. Like our season ends late October, mid October.
First snowfall. I mean,
I feel
like it's beginning.
Yeah, October 17th.
Or like actual college.
So our actual college season ended then, and I'm a diehard, so I'll play until there's snow on the ground or until the course is closed. But like even then, like it was a miracle we got to play golf on my birthday,
Yeah.
and that's rare. Like that's December 15th. Like that's rare. Like up here, it's cold, but we got kind of lucky those 2 days. And then literally, what was it? 3 days later, we got dumped on or something with snow, and then
like
only until now.
And it
What is it?
wasn't even, like-
February. February 10th, and we're playing golf Saturday.
And it
we
wasn't
have
even
to
like
drive
that
2 hours
bad.
for
of
it.
a
Yeah, we have to
bad.
drive 2 hours for it. Yeah,
Where are you guys playing at?
we're going down the Cape,
Oh, nice. Which course is it?
Allendale.
and Dartmouth. I've played it a few times. It's a good look.
You'll
Good
see.
course.
You'll see a video.
Yeah,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen. Hey, Blazer Golf, our first on-course video. We are playing with another person though. We have a 3, so and we might even have a 4. Who knows? Because the course might be packed. So there might be limited commentary, but
That video will be dropping next Friday?
yep, next Friday, our first on-course video. Just stroke play. We're not gonna do anything crazy. It's
Just like a little tour of a course. We haven't played in like since December 15th.
yeah.
And
We
even then,
literally it's the last time we played golf. Yeah.
and December 15th was like the first time we played golf for like a month. So it's
Yeah.
gonna be rusty, but we'll get some content out there for you guys.
Yeah, content. You guys are gonna see us, at our, the most raw golf. You'll see us like unpracticed, like everything is there.
We take a quick break to check in with our friends over at Left Behind Golf.
Hey, fellow lefties, have you ever been the only guy in your group to swing on the right side of the ball? Yeah, me too. It's not easy being a lefty, especially if you're looking for a comfortable golf glove, and everybody knows that struggle. Guys, let me introduce you to something that's going to change your game for the better. Left Behind Golf Company. Left Behind Golf Company is a small startup based out of the Toronto area that is the first ever lefty-exclusive golf brand. Include an array of high-quality, comfortable, and awesome-looking golf gloves, alongside some of the best apparel you could ask for. Lefties, do yourself a favor and go on Left Behind Golf Company right now. We have a link in the description, and use code MKEEF10 for 10% off your entire purchase. Ladies and gentlemen, Left Behind Golf. Get it now.
Done high school D3, a little bit of D1.
Mm-hmm.
I've played in tournaments where you get like the actual amateurs that are like 27, 26. Like
Oh, okay. You're talking about like independent am
these
golf.
guys are
Okay.
not only like have played college golf, but like and even like older, into like 40s and whatever. Like man, like they've dialed down their swing so much that they are hitting the same shot whenever they need to. They know the courses so well.
It's experience.
I played with a guy this summer and just watching him, like you learn so much. I mean, he's hitting wedges, or he's hitting like 7 irons to like 30 feet, not even going for the pin. Like he had the same draw every time, and you think like, oh, it's not drawing enough, but he hit it right where he needed to, and I don't know, it's
just
like
perfect
boring.
every
It's
time.
boring,
It's boring golf, but boring golf wins.
but then like all of a sudden you're like, man, like I would do anything to be 1 under through 8 right now, and this guy's just like chilling, like totally chilling.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like my buddy AJ, who I constantly talk about, we're gonna play with this weekend. He's 29, I think, and he's an ex-professional. Like he has the experience. He's played across the country. Like it doesn't matter how bad his game is or how bad his swing might feel. Like those guys, they find a way to manage.
They know how to score.
They know how
you
to-
never see them like in tournaments have a blow up day.
No,
They find a way like club champs or tournaments that
because
I
they've
play
been
in.
there. They've done
Yeah,
it.
the same names are always up there, and it just goes to show their skill. And like someone like me, like I might be able to put together 2 good days, but like I don't know, like if you give me a 4-day tournament, like I'd have to be playing really well to have consistent
4 good
scores,
days.
Yeah. Like in high school, you see or D3, like you have like 80, 81 or 76, whatever. Like you don't see those guys go.
78.
You will see those guys go 78, 90, 67.
Yeah.
They're always around
Yeah,
one number.
it happens.
Consistent 3 digits.
Yeah. Matt's a consistent 3 shots on the par 4,
Yeah.
2 or 3 putt for bogey or double.
So this is a really, guys, this is good. This is top tier right here. Talk about consistency. This is where we're gonna go into our fun little debate. Draw versus fade.
How about you start?
So
All right, how
hold
about
on.
this? Let's go around the table.
We'll do
What
like
is-
yeah. So
What's your preferred shot shape?
Me? I am a die-hard Jordan Speed fader.
Jordan Spieth fader.
Jordan Speed.
Jordan Spieth fader.
Yep.
Did that just come?
Jordan Speed.
Wow.
Jordan Spieth.
There's a lot of other pros.
Jordan Spieth does not hit draws in any circumstance.
Very wrong.
No, it's not.
His shot last year.
His short game.
His shot last year. AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am on 16. Huge slinging draw hole.
Okay, yeah, a slinging draw.
He hits draws and fades. He's fucking Jordan Spieth.
Dude. Yeah, obviously, but like their natural shot.
If you're gonna talk fade, you have to say DJ. You have to say DJ.
I don't have to say DJ.
He hits way more fades than anyone.
And John Rahm, Lee Trevino.
DJ has literally never hit a fade in his life.
Jack Nicklaus is ideal shot shape. Come on. All right. Well, anyway.
Jordan Spieth.
Jordan Spieth hits fades, yes. In a short game, he's been quoted to only hitting fades. He never wants to see a draw. I could find the video. We can literally put it up. But I'm gonna find that video.
Short game is so. How the hell are we gonna talk fade and draw with short game?
Fade and draw with short game. Fade and draw with wedge game.
With short game, you don't want to hit draws. Like,
well, you want to feel the face open.
You're trying to put
hitting a fade.
Everything is flop shots. Yeah, you're not trying to hit draws. You're trying to hit a draw flop shot. I mean, Tiger's had but it's Tiger.
Imagine hitting a draw flop shot.
We're talking.
How the hell?
We're talking like
that's something that you're gonna start practicing.
A draw flop.
No, you're gonna practice a fade draw, flop shot.
So that's pretty much what a flop shot is.
I know.
Can you draw a flop shot? I know in 2K.
I don't know.
You can in PGA.
Would it really be a flop shot if you draw it? I mean, like you have to like.
You have to like literally like come so inside and then close a face, but keeping it open.
It's like at that point, it's like
you'd have to chunk it. Like I don't think there's any way. Anyway,
But all right. Die hard fade. Jordan Spieth or not? Matt.
I mean, ever since Coach enlightened me, I'm now a draw. But beforehand, I was a fade because I just slice every single shot.
I was gonna say that.
So like I wouldn't call it a fade.
Oh wait, hold on, real quick. Sorry to stop you. We're all lefties here. All three of us were all lefties. So that if you're a right-handed player listening to this, when we say a fade, we're talking about a draw for you. So you basically flip it.
Yeah.
But it's still like the same preference. Sorry to cut you off, but continue.
No, yeah, and it's just like, I mean, I've always just hit a fade, but I mean, Coach has just kind of taught me how to like really close it and just like kind of pull more of a draw, but I can't really find the happy medium.
I will say, I've gone through hitting both. You know, wherever my swing was at. Like say if I'm hitting fades, one day like it's just how it is. Like I'm not against either. You know, but I would prefer if I had one to choose from. Like if I have 150 yards, pins in the middle of the green, what do I think I can get it closest with? I'm much more comfortable like hitting a tight draw because it's just more reliable.
Man,
I feel like fades can get out of control. And it's hard to really get your distances dialed. You can but like a tight draw, I don't know. That's just how I feel, and we can discuss that deeper. But
well, golf's a game of feels. It's all individual and it's all personal. So
we're talking like no elements. So say we're not on a slope.
The
wind's not in. Like if it's just no wind, flat,
like
or
if
off
the
the tee. If you need
whatever.
to hit it, in the fairway on 18 to shoot your best round.
Hitting a fade.
Like what are you hitting?
You're hitting a fade.
I'm going to attempt to hit a draw, but I will hit a fade.
This is about to be a John here.
Yeah, John. So guys, John is a diehard draw guy, but the only clips that I have of him on my phone hitting balls are only with fades. And when he was hitting fades, he was bombing the ball.
He hit it further with it. You hit it farther with a draw.
That
is true.
I have a quote from Lee Trevino here saying, "I've never seen a fader starve to death. I've seen a lot of guys that hook the ball go hungry, but not a guy that fades it." So that's basically kind of speaking to that point, like, you know, the ball is going to go farther with a draw. There's less spin. You're closing the face. You're coming from the inside. So just like, you know, actually like moving your body wise, like you're going to generate most of the time more power.
Yeah.
But
I do feel like, I don't know, something about, like I said, I've hit both and I'll be comfortable hitting both. I hit it pretty straight, honestly. That's kind of my ball flight.
Yeah, you hit a really straight ball.
But there's something about like, I don't know, like it's so much easier for me to like think about hitting a draw than a fade. When you think about hitting a fade, sometimes you can like block the hell out of it, or like you think about coming over the top. Next thing you know, you pull it.
Mm-hmm.
When you're thinking of a draw, like I just feel like you can either aim straight at it and have your path come pretty shallow, or you can aim. It's so much easier to hook a ball than it is to slice one on like demand.
Exactly.
You know, so I do
That's-
feel like I don't know wedges, fades sometimes. Like I don't know, man. I feel like with wedges it spins a lot, and like you can like really not feel the true distance if you're hitting a fade.
I don't know. I just hate watching my ball fall to the left.
It
I just spent watching
I hate seeing it fall to the right.
I've just been watching it fall to the left this entire time, just with a hook and just like, I mean, not hook, a slice. And
well
it's just
yeah.
like,
Off the tee. It did, like three wood, like drawing a three wood's so awesome. It's so awesome.
I mean, if you, with the 1 in a million chance I hit my 3-wood nice, I just love seeing it just float up, and it just, I mean, usually draws, but
I mean, my kind of touch on this is I'm going to ask you both a question here.
yeah.
If you could name two of the more consistent and better drivers of the golf ball, who are you going to say? Like, are you going to pick? Who are you going to pick? Right now, world number 1 and world number 6 with DJ?
DJ's 5.
D5. Oh, even better. So our top 1 and 5 are dedicated faders of the golf ball off the tee.
I have no
Okay.
clue. Don't watch golf.
But what but
I
basically
mean,
my
to that point, that's a tough thing because like someone's got to be number 1 and 5 in the world. You know, like not
Yeah.
everyone's gonna hit. I mean, off the tee, it definitely is more common for faders. I
I mean-
say nowadays, there's still a lot of drawers.
I mean, look at Bryson.
There's plenty.
Bryson bombs the ball.
Yeah,
Like-
Patrick Cantlay.
Yeah.
He probably goes both ways. Like they're so good that
There's
they
a lot of players who
they
go
can
both
shape
ways.
Spieth hits draws.
Yeah,
They all
but
do.
he hits a lot of fades though. He hits a whole lot of fades. His swing is set up for it. He has a weak grip. That's why at the top he's so flat and then shallows it. Comes from the outside. But another thing too, like Colin Morikawa, like one of the best iron players of our generation. He's unquoted saying like his 8-iron, that's his favorite club. Like he hits like a trusty fade, like because it's just a consistent feel. And granted, these are tour players, right? Like for us, for me personally, I like hitting a fade just because it's more controllable. I like seeing a lot of spin on the ball. Like I don't hit it super high. I hit down on it pretty significantly. So the spin kind of like helps me control the flight a little bit. But very rarely will I throw a draw at it. I just don't like to see it.
For me, well, let's break it down. Fades obviously spin more.
Yep,
They don't go as far,
that's fair.
but you could argue say it's more controllable, right? Like if you're dialed in, a fade's easier to control. The spin, it's easier to, who knows? But let's just say maybe like I don't know, because a lot of people they come from that slice and turn into a fade. You
Yeah.
know, like amateur golfers that start golfing
Yeah, so they're
and they turn into a
yeah.
fade. But when you're talking like, I don't know, like I feel like
Yeah, Big Matt.
I don't know, just watching like the ball go to the right finally is just such a nice feeling. And like you were saying with the amateur golfers, just like coming in, watching their ball slice, and like I mean, being a lefty, it's just like watching it ended up fading, and like I guess it fades like every once in a while. And like I mean, I hit the ball straight sometimes with I don't know. That's the thing. I just need more consistency with my driver, and that's like the club I at least have to start with, because if I can just hold a consistent draw, I'd be so happy in my life not ever seeing the ball fall to the left again.
I will say, yeah, I think where I stand on this, just to like kind of sum up my argument, I think fades are fine, draws are fine. I think draws, I think off the tee, it kind of depends. 3-wood, you should draw. I think 3-wood drawing is, I mean, you guys fade if you're John Rahm and shit, but like just like for like all the golfers averaged, I think draws are beneficial off the tee. Maybe driver fades are more reliable, so I'd say driver fade. Anything else off the tee, draw. Iron play should be draws, unless like long irons, draws. I don't know. Like it's when you're that far out, like it's so much easier to
You don't want a lot of spin on long
that,
irons.
and also like
Understandably, yeah.
at that point you want it to like get to your distance. I don't know. I feel like sometimes like with fades, all of a sudden you have one tiny mishit,
You come a little short.
and your 6-iron from 185 goes 165, and now all of a sudden like you're in the bunker and
Yeah, no,
like,
that-
draws are just like
it's
more.
valid.
You can just like I don't know. For me, they're more just like fun trying to hit, because it's like it's gonna go the distance, and like already I just like kind of don't hit the ball as far as I like wanted to all the time. So like trying to put that draw on it just like gives me those extra yards.
It gives you a boost.
Yeah, and like because I know you're the professional fader at this point, live or die. I mean, didn't at first your ball would always fall to the right? That's why you don't want to.
So that's kind of what I was about to say. Like you kind of said, how a lot of amateur golfers they start off slicing it. I was opposite. I started off with a mean fucking hook, and it was awful. Like for me, granted, I hit the ball a pretty long way, even with irons. But at the time, this was 2020. I was hitting like, I'll show you some videos. Like I'll pull it. We'll show you guys a video of this my old swing, 3-wood. I would hit it way offline. Like these push draws were like, starting way out. Like it's kind of nuts. So, starting when I actually first started playing tournament golf, like I would get nervous and I get quick and I would just hit this awful duck hook. And I hate seeing it now. Like it's just it hurts me because I don't want to make a good swing and then have a ball go like dead right.
No, and it's just
I'd rather make a good swing and then just like, if you block it, I'd rather see like a spinny high block and know I made a good swing than make a really good swing and then just see it just dive bomb, right? Like I just can't see it.
The exact way you feel about that is like
it's how the majority of other people feel the other way. Yeah.
Yeah. It definitely I feel
it's
like
all about perspective.
The worst thing is like not coming through the ball properly, and for me, like when I'm on the tee of a tight hole, like it's so when you're hitting, if you have like a fade or a cut, like I feel like it's so much easier to overcut it into the hazard, and just keep seeing it turn over and be like, oh, stop. And like if you're into the wind, oh my gosh, it's even worse.
Yeah, and it's hard to play in the wind, so I agree with you there. Yeah,
draws. I don't know. I feel like I'd rather give it a chance of. I don't know. Like I don't know if it was like Jack Nicklaus or maybe Arnie said like I think it was Arnie like
Arnie
swing at the trouble, in terms of like play it against.
Yeah, so play it against. Yes,
draw it over the water instead of fade it towards. So I don't know. It's all situational, and like great players are gonna hit whatever they want, but I don't know. I'm still going 150 out, no wind, flat. I'm hitting a little draw. I feel like I can get that closer.
Yeah,
because you can still spin. I mean, at least for me, I spin it enough to stop the ball. It's not like my draws kind of bounce like a trampoline off the green.
Mm-hmm.
But there have been times where like when I was playing fades and I've hit 8-iron into a slight breeze,
and it just spins. It just catches up and spins. Yeah,
30 feet. So
it's all subjective to how people play and their preference and everything. Like, but really, it's just that's just how it is. Everybody's gonna play golf differently. I think that's what's beautiful about our sport. You look at other sports like basketball. Like everybody has their own jump shot, right? Everybody has their own like baseball swing. They're like come through, but like at the same time, like there's an ideal jump shot, right? Like if you break down the metrics of a jump shot, like there's an ideal jump shot.
I think in the dictionary, it's actually just best jump shot to Liam Fitzgibbons.
Oh, 100%.
It might be.
Guys, best shooter on the Blazer Golf podcast.
Honestly,
Blazer Golf channel is
he's just
John's not gonna like.
Oh, actually, John's gonna agree.
No, because honestly, that's just like he just feels so bad. He could have went D1 for basketball, but chose to come to a D3 school for golf, and that's just like, and that's why we love Liam so much. No, but honestly,
now Liam's a shooter though. We were in the gym last night. He was putting up some threes. No joke. He was hitting threes.
Quick break to check in with our friends over at Caddy Splash.
Everybody knows that there's nothing that looks better than freshly cleaned clubs in the bag. Showing up to the first tee with fresh clubs is just so confidence building, and it's the best feeling in the world. With the Caddy Splash brush, you can keep your clubs clean, not for just that first hole, but throughout the entire round. Inside the brush, you can fill it up with water, either before or during your round. And when you're going to clean your clubs, you squeeze a handle, water will come out of the end of the brush, just one brush, one wipe, and you're back to brand new. No more dirt, no more sand, and no more debris in your clubs. Keep it nice and clean, fresh grooves, so you can get all the spin and performance out of your clubs. No more need for dry spitting or hip towels or shoe wipes. Keep your clubs clean today, from the first hole to the clubhouse, using the Caddy Splash brush.
Back to the pod.
So guys, we have some interesting stories to tell today. This is kind of our third topic. We're gonna get a little bit more personal for some golf story time. And that's
Golf
a pretty good
story time.
So
golf
actually,
story time.
yeah,
That's a pretty good segue, Matt.
leading
So,
off on
so
seatbelts.
yeah, seatbelts and golf carts.
I mean, it was. I mean, I must have been like my freshman year of high school or something. I was playing at like one of my home courses, and it was starting to get a little rainy out. We were taking the carts around, and I was going down this steep hill. No clue how to drive at this point. I mean, I kind of understood how the wheel went, just like all the shit.
I was gonna say,
But
bro,
I just didn't know that you weren't really supposed to hit the brakes going down a hill when it's like wet. I didn't know your tires were really gonna lock up like that. And I don't know, I was just turning around, and I like half flipped into like the wood, not the woods. It was like a deep bush area, and we just couldn't get it out. And we were trying so hard, and finally this guy came down, and somehow ended up knowing like my family and all that stuff. Super cool dude. I guess he was in the Marines. He was a chef, all that stuff. Very, very crazy dude. But he helped.
Shit happen to you, man.
No, dude. He helped us get that up, and he didn't tell anyone. We went out, and no issues. And kind of the same thing where it was like at the same exact course too, but this one was about like a year ago. We were driving,
the same thing in the same bush.
No. We were driving around, and we were going around. It was on the 9th hole, and it kind of comes around to this little like U-turn kind of thing. And my buddy was going around it. I went around, and I avoided the stick. He didn't avoid the stick. Steering wheel, you could just throw that thing around. The tire, I don't know what was broken. It must have been something snapped.
Is that
underneath.
when you called me?
Yes. I called him, and I was like, Liam, what do I do? I like FaceTimed you.
He's
I was
like,
just spinning.
He's like,
I don't know about this. What happened?
he's like, Liam, you used to work at a golf course, right? I'm like, yeah, I still do. He's like, what happens when the wheel keeps spinning on the golf cart? And I'm like, bro, what? Like, I'm not a fucking golf cart mechanic. Like, I was like, is the axle like not connected? Like,
So
Hold on, what course were you playing?
No, we'll not say that.
come on, you're trying to set him up.
Yeah, come on, that's
I'm
bad.
sorry,
I'm
that's my bad. That's my bad.
But at the
Oh,
same
Jesus.
time, two of our buddies walked back. Me and my other buddy, we drove our carts back, dropped them off, got out of there. No letters in the mail. So
So you dipped?
we just left the cart up there. I mean, dude, what else are we supposed to do?
Oh my god.
I mean, the
All
cart
right.
wasn't like broken. It was more just stuck. I mean, it was probably just.
It wasn't broken.
I mean, it was just probably something had to be popped back.
It can only
into
turn
place.
right.
Man.
Jesus
I-
Christ.
Yeah, I remember you calling me about that actually.
I have a pretty interesting cart story. So this is like a point of view because I don't know the entire story, but I have a friend of mine who worked at this course.
So did they like? Do you know how like did they put it out or they just like let it burn?
Dude, they let it burn. I mean, I
the
honestly-
fire
okay,
department probably
okay.
made an appearance
So-
at some point.
so I think at one point because I went on and played. I stayed there for like 5 minutes looking at it and I dipped. But what my buddy told me is where they clean all the balls in like the maintenance shed is like just like probably if you like a walk away, it's a few minute walk. So I literally think that he was just grabbing buckets and throwing it at it. Like buckets of like water, obviously, and like dirty range ball water, just throwing it at this thing. And I don't know if this is true. This is just what I heard, but apparently like there was like a towel on the engine or something because it was a hot day. It was the middle of summer,
Oh.
so like something like that could just catch on fire and then I don't know. Anyway,
That's crazy.
so that's just a quick story. I got one more real quick, and then we'll go off to you, Liam. But
I know
Save
you
the
got
best.
some.
The
yeah,
best
best
for
for
last.
last. Best for
Yeah,
last.
best
But
for last. That's what
so
I like to tell 'em.
last year up in Mass, I work at a range, pretty popular range right off the highway, Southborough Golf and Practice. Great job, love the place. And basically, I got called into work during a tropical storm. Tropical storm Elsa, you guys can look it up. It was like July. And we had a really rainy last summer, but basically, I just got called in. My boss was like, "Hey, just go into work, like, just chill at the place. Make sure like no one comes in, right? Like, you can have the gate locked up. Just hang out." I'm like, okay, pretty easy. Like, I'm just basically making sure no one hops up on the range because it's pretty popular. So I get called up to the range, right? Or I'm at the range, and I see these cars come up. And I had a few cars come up. They pulled up and then drove back down. And mind you, it's absolutely pouring, like tropical storm. Like it's like I remember we talked about this earlier, like the other day. Like it was pouring.
Yeah.
Like 30-mile-an-hour winds, 40-mile-an-hour winds, and just absolute like bullets coming down. And there's like people coming to the range because we have like indoor bays.
That's pretty sick.
So basically, another car comes up, like SUV, big SUV, and these guys get out of the car, and they like open the gate. And mind you, the gate has like a lock, but like it's one of those locks that you can just like you just get through. You know, thing or two about getting through locks, right, man? No, no, not a locksmith.
I feel like you're more of a locksmith kind of guy, little thief.
Okay. So basically, these guys get in and they drive up. Like they open like big sway bar gate. They just drive up, and I'm like, what do I do? I was like, shit. Like I literally look through the window. I'm like, what do I do? So I walk out. They're getting all their shit out of the car. Like they have one bag and there's like 4 guys, and I'm like, guys, like, what the hell are you doing? Like the gate is locked, and they're like, no, we're gonna hit balls, and I'm like, no, you're not. Like leave. Like we're not open. Like we're closed. And they basically like didn't care what I said. They ran around like where you go up to like get the balls. They run out into the range.
No way.
They run out into the range, literally grabbing grabbing balls and literally bringing them back to the front and just hitting them off. So I'm like,
It's a lifestyle.
I'm not gonna chase them, right? So I called my boss and I'm like, dude, like there are people who broke in. They're running out to the range, grabbing like muddy, wet range balls in like one bag, and they're just bringing this shit back and hitting balls. And he's just like, oh well, what?
The first tee, it's right out front near the putting green, and we're playing this school, and they got so many people on their team. There's probably like 30 kids on the putting green, right? We have like 4,
like a tournament,
and we have 4. So whenever you're teeing off, you got like 30 kids watching you, which is fine. Problem is, there's like 30 kids that are right next to the first tee box, right? And the coach and whatever, people on the deck or whatever, and the clubhouse is like right across from it. It's a good distance away. You wouldn't think it'd come into play. So one of the kids on our team, and there's like a net right in front of you going out. So, if you're right, you got to hit a big fade around. So one of the kids on my team, he usually played this huge cut, right? And he's right-handed. So, this is a perfect tee shot for him. Like, you can't fuck it up. All he has to do is like hit a huge slice. You're fine. And he steps up, and I mean, there's kids. His back's to him, so you wouldn't think they're in play. There's kids.
Wait, what?
In play? So he's teeing off right here. There's kids all up through here, right? The putting green, whatever. Mm-hmm. He hits it, and it comes straight behind him, over everyone's head, hits the clubhouse, comes back across the putting green, and rolls right under the fence that's right in front of the tee box. And everyone's just like giggling and shit, like, oh my god. And he's like looking at our coach like, what do I do? He's like, well, you gotta hit it again. Okay, so he picks the ball up, right? It's right there. And he goes to tee it up again, right? And the other team's coach is just like, move back, guys. And you wouldn't think that he'd do it twice, right? And like they got 30 kids picking up their bags and like moving it back, and I was like, oh my god, I'm laughing my ass off. I'm like, dude, there's no way. He hits it okay, but like just that whole like 30 kids like moving their bags back. Oh man, that was
Jesus.
I've never seen a golf team that had 30 kids on it before.
Dude, it's crazy. It was crazy.
Oh my god.
30 is obviously like, probably not 30, but like 20, at least 20.
How do you get air hitting it behind you? Like,
he must have. It's almost like he whiffed it and hit it with the heel backwards.
And it got air.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
And he hit it pretty
That's
hard.
Impressive.
And hard enough to, in one hit the clubhouse and ricochet back.
Damn.
I don't know, man.
That's crazy.
I mean,
at least it was a dinky clubhouse.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, like that probably happened multiple times. But,
that's crazy.
Yeah,
I mean, I also had a kid on my team break the record. He had a few records for high school. He had he had probably the best fall, and he had the highest recorded amount of shots in a match.
What do you shoot?
Jesus.
Take a guess. You know, right?
Oh my god, yeah, you
All right, take a guess. 86?
Yeah.
No.
Higher or lower?
Higher.
104.
Higher.
Wait, 18 or 9?
This is 9 holes.
9 holes.
122.
Higher.
145.
Lower.
134.
142 shots.
That is fucking. Oh my.
It was in the paper. Hey, he.
Wait, he was in the paper?
Oh yeah, it goes. Our match is going. High school match is going like the paper.
Yo, we gotta find that paper.
Well, people were probably looking at like, oh, team score.
Listen, this kid. I mean, great kid and everything. Not a golfer. But
I'm not that much.
He had like a counter, like a stroke counter. He'd like.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
it was not good. And I remember like he played fast. I remember one time we were like joking around.
Play 140
So I was the
fast.
one, and they played him as the 2, right? And we'd be like putting out, and he'd be like on the hole behind us.
See, I had a kid like that. We had a Butters, and he was great, but he's actually crazy. He actually lost like so much weight and all that stuff, and he's actually like, I guess he's actually decent at golf now, but oh my god, it was something. I mean, he would one out of every he would play out of his 9 holes, he'd hit 1 drive nice, and never be able to capitalize it. But like, he was at like the 75 to like 80 range on most 9 holes, but then is walking right behind him. So he walked so this kid Jack could run. Jack would consistently average 85 to 90, and 90 would be because you get the max you get is 10 every time.
See, we played double par, but he refused.
For his own pride, he refused double par. He needed to finish.
Wait,
the
so
hole.
he still
respect though. Respect. If you're gonna play.
Wait, so they actually put like the 142 in the counter. What was he getting on holes? 25.
No. I mean, he did have the record for the highest score on a hole. I remember one match I shot like a 38. And the par 5 8th is like a long par 5. A lot of trouble, and I mean, this kid would count his whiffs every putt. And I remember he was playing in a group, and my coach comes up to me. He's like, dude, Marty's taking like 2 hours on the 8th hole. I'm like, what's he gonna shoot, like a fucking 20 on it? He's like, he's already at 32.
No way.
And I'm like, oh my god. So after he comes in, I'm like, Marty, what the hell did you get on the 8th hole? And this is a different round from the 142. You think he'd have a 34 during the 142 round. No.
Oh my
He comes in, he has like 112 or whatever, and I'm like, what happened on 8? He's like, well, it took me a lot to get to the green, and then when I was on the green, I had a 9 putt, and I'm like, dude, how? I'm like, why? You're coming to every practice. How would you have a 9 putt? He's like, I just kept hitting it 5 feet by, and I'm like,
dude, those 5-foot knee knockers. Dude,
he had a 34 on a par 5, and I come in with a 38, and I'm like, dude, like,
okay, hold on.
There's no way you're trying. Obviously.
Oh
not.
no, he's not out there like taking practice swings and everything, and he's not lining up his putt.
He's not out there for a long time. He's out there for a good time.
But it's just like, man, like,
respect to him though for actually counting it.
Yeah.
Well, hold on. So wait, did you say 142, right?
142.
Doing the math, that's 15.8 shots per hole.
On short par 3s as well. You know?
Oh, man. That's brutal. Shout out to him, man.
It's I mean,
that's.
I don't know. I could just play a bit around my putt.
Tell you one thing that his game that he does better than a lot of other people is that he counts all of his damn shots, and you gotta respect him for that. At least he was legit. Anyway,
You got any? I think we're wrapping up here. We got some questions.
Yeah,
right?
we got 4 questions today,
All right.
and we actually have guys. These are submitted by you guys here.
If you want to be submitted,
yeah. If you want to be submitted,
send it to any of our socials. We'll
YouTube comments, Instagram DMs. Respond to our stories. We have a Twitter that nobody follows. Like, follow that shit. Like, get us clicks. We need people following our socials. That's how you find us.
Yeah.
That's how you find this content. That's how you get it. Anyway, so
First up, what we got first up?
So I'll read out our 4. We have 4 questions. I'm gonna read them out, and then I'll ask both of you, and then we'll just throw it either way. We'll go around. So our 4 questions today. Our first
one at a time, right?
Yeah, one at a time. All Our first question is submitted by Nathaniel Beeland. What is the biggest learning curve in golf? Like just starting at what is the biggest learning curve for new golfers?
Putting.
Yeah, putting is like impossible. It's like the craziest.
Yeah, I mean, right?
I did not know how to like completely read a putt. I mean, I still don't, but like I just had no clue how to even like judge it like more than just like the basic amount. Like, oh, that go down that way and that go up that way.
I think it's when you teach. I mean, not everyone, but like you see, like say like baseball players or basketball come over from a sport and they play golf, right? If you give an athlete or they tee up a ball, they're not gonna hit it great, but like you can hit it. If you give them a 5-footer, they could hit that 8 feet by. Like I like watching my girlfriend learn to play golf, or just like I said, the kid who shot 142. Like he would hit it sometimes 150 in the air, but he could not putt. I mean, it's this. I think the speed. I think learning how to putt and short game is the biggest learning.
I was gonna
because that's when you drop. You see all these. You can learn how to go hit it in the fairway, hit an 8-iron to 30 feet.
I think one of my worst things is just like having my club and just like shaving the ball just like on my chips that are supposed to just have to go like 10 feet, and it's just like I'll just almost like top them, and it's just like they just fly right over the green.
Dude, that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say short game. Like
just blade it every single time.
Like putting. Like obviously putting's feel, right? Putting's all feel, but also short game. And I feel like because there's more elements in short game, like you're in the rough, you're in the sand. Sand is a huge problem for new golfers.
But then for people like who realize the sand is like a good place to miss sometimes,
Yeah, I like the sand, but
I think
I feel like short game
and putting, and for me at least, I think is the biggest way to shave strokes. If you want to drop your handicap, practice putting.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because
putting in short games is
that's where you have to hold the ball at some point.
Mm-hmm.
I say putting.
You can even boil it down to make it even simpler, like just feels. Like you can have a stock swing, but if any of you guys know anything about golf, like you're not hitting your stock shot every time. Like 50-yard wedge shots, like so many people struggle from like inside 100 yards where they're not hitting a full swing. Like
that's probably like a really close neck.
It's bladed gone, or it's like huge chunk divot.
But you could also play those. I mean, like when
there's ways
when
around
you're good golfers trying to score, like
that's what they want.
That's when like the chunks, or maybe that's another learning curve. But in terms of it's like how do you get the most shots off? I say putting in short game.
Yeah,
100%. You see way more 3 putts than 3 drives.
Yeah, that's true. 100%. Yeah.
So what's question number 2?
Question number 2, submitted by Nathan Jordy. So another Nathan. One aspect of a course that ruins or makes or make or break a bad experience.
For me, you guys are gonna have something totally different, but just trees. Way too many trees. I'm smacking into them, going.
Favorite golf brand?
Honestly,
I'm pretty sure you guys know what I'm gonna say, but you guys go first.
I mean, I'm going Callaway.
Easy. Ping for clubs, Callaway for ball. I mean, I play Callaway, Titleist, TP5, Bridge. It doesn't matter the ball, but clubs, I have all Ping besides Callaway wedges.
Ride or die, TaylorMade, baby. I love TaylorMade. I don't know, just a big TaylorMade guy. Drivers are good. Irons are good. The wedges, I don't have the wedges personally, but the putters, the spider putter. Everyone knows a spider putter.
I think Ping, they have some of the cleanest looking irons and
That's
clubs.
Fair.
And just
irons are basic.
But that's what makes them look good.
I mean, all these clubs are so high technology. I'm surprised you don't. I mean, your boy Tony's on Ping.
Rory's on TaylorMade.
Louis Oosthuizen. I don't know. I feel like Ping obviously is more European tour, has a lot of Ping staffers, but I just like their drivers and everything. I like the sound. I like the feel.
You got the Ping hat on right now.
I have the Ping hat on right now.
He's got the Ping hat on.
I don't use their wedges, but I just haven't.
You haven't tried them yet.
I haven't got them, so.
I personally like TaylorMade just because I think it's a really fun brand. I think I touched up on this our last podcast. The super
they
cool
got a lot of
head covers.
Customization.
Their customization, their head covers, a red driver face, with the stealth. And the thing is, you can customize that. You can change the color of the face. You can make it white if you want to. I just feel like a lot of other brands are kind of lacking in like the customization department, and just personally, like I've had issues with other brands as well, like Titleist. Not to bash Titleist, you guys make some awesome wedges, some great clubs, but like the customer support I had when I had a few of my drivers break, like it was awful. And then with TaylorMade, like I broke a sim. I broke 3 drivers last year. I broke 2 Titleists and 1 sim, and TaylorMade was so easy to just like literally. Like I sent them my thing, sent them an email. They were like, "Yeah, put everything in here." Da da da. Did the whole process. Like 2 weeks later, I had a brand new driver. Like and no questions asked.
Swing speed's just too fast.
Just cranking them.
Just cranking them. So
Cranking them a ball off the toe and crack in the face.
Is there one more?
Yeah, there's one more. So our last question of the day, and this is actually a pretty interesting question. What is the best and worst golf shot you've ever hit?
I mean,
like, what is the... Okay, we'll start with the worst. Let's go bad and good. Like, what's the worst golf shot you've ever hit?
if you want to start.
You want me to start?
Yeah,
I gotta think.
My worst golf shot that I've ever hit was... it was probably in that tournament at the GNAC where Coach watched me top it. Like, into, like... So, I think it was... I don't know what hole it was. It was, like, on the front nine. It was, like, 5. And there's this like tee box set way back, and then there's this huge dip of like deep grass, like literally like weeds grass. Like you could not find the ball, like, and you're hitting into like thick ass grass.
What course?
And it was New Haven.
Oh yeah.
And I literally topped it. Like Coach watching me, like I don't know. He's seen me play some bad golf, but like that one shot in particular, like I can just remember it, like how bad. Like the ball did not hit the face. Like it just was a straight dead top.
I think I've obviously topped it and shanked it. I think, but in terms of like worst golf shot, I one time was like, this was in tournament, and like I'm like, it's a slow day in the tournament, so there's like tons of weights, and I have like an 80-yard shot into a par 5 for my 3rd shot, waiting for the green to clear. Oh my gosh, it took forever. And I finally hit to my ball and like kind of went through my routine, but like at that point I already was like 20 minutes waiting. And I just hit the most unaimed, like I didn't line it, like just decelerated pitch shot, and I dumped it in the bunker like 30 yards short of the green. And I'm like, ooh, dude, like man. I was like even par at that point too. I'm just like that's like just like
so
if someone watched that,
it kills you.
If someone watched that, like all of a sudden instead of having 80 yards and maybe having like a 20-footer for birdie, I'm trying to get up and down from 30 yards from the bunker.
so
it's just so bad.
Yeah, but no. So this one, I wouldn't say it's the worst shot ever, but definitely the most like comical. And so it was us. We were standing on the second hole.
Oh, we were there.
Oh yeah. and
instantly, I know.
So I'm just keep putting this slice on this ball, and this is the hole that they've been talking about. It's super tight, and I was like, you know what, I'm going driver, and Liam's like, aim at the house.
There's a house. Well to the
right. All right.
Well to the right.
Guys, number 2 at Cold Spring. So where you tee off on the first hole is up the hill, go down the hill. Second tee box is just right of the green. You're going back up the hill, and at the top of this hill, like for whatever reason, there's this like massive, like I think they use it as like storage or whatever for the maintenance stuff, right? But like this big ass house,
and it is so far right
from where the fairway is. Like if this is like the fairway, like this house is like way up here, like it's out there.
But I remember I was the one who like told Matt to aim there because he was just going through this, like we were in a match, I think it was me and him versus you and John, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, Matt, listen, like I know you where you're aiming right now, it's gonna slice out of bounds. I'm like, aim at the house. I'm like, aim at the house. And I was like,
at first I was like, no. And I was like,
Matt, please just once for me, aim at the house.
I was like, all right. And I just aimed up at the house, took the swing back, dead straight, right into the fucking house. Just that, it would have been perfect.
Oh my god, it would have been perfect.
But maybe it's because you open your stance so much too.
Yeah, maybe that's what I need to do.
No.
I don't know,
but then he tees it up again and like top shanks one like 100 yards.
Slap cut before the tree, and then it goes left. So
it all works.
I heard that word way too many times this year. Slap cut.
Oh,
slap cut. Slap cut.
And well, that does it, right, for the question.
No. We had the best shot. What's a best shot? I'll go first because we'll go around full circle. So this was actually in the best round I ever played. In the rainstorm. So I'm on the 16th hole at Shining Rock, 600 something yard par 5. I hit a pretty good drive out there, 3-iron to get around the corner because it's like a dog leg, but like you got to hit it like it's like at least 4 whatever to like the dog leg. So you're still hitting like a long iron in, and since it's rainy and it was like kind of cold, like I was like 3-iron. I'll slap cut a 3-iron, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So I hit my 3-iron out there, and it goes way too far left. Like it's basically like in the woods. So I was like, shit. So at this point, I think at that point, yeah, I was even par, and I was on track. So I was like, shit, like I gotta punch out and make par, and I didn't have a look to the green, so I had to hit backwards. So it was a par save. I remember it. So, fuck. Yeah, no. So I get out, I punch out. I'm hitting my 4th shot from the fairway, and it was like 145 back pin, and it's a slim green, super slim. Hole right is dead, back is dead, and there's 2 bunkers on the left side. So like there's a huge ridge in the middle. So there's not a lot of room to land it. And I hit I'm like fucking full pitching wedge. Hit it, goes up, like hits right on top of the ridge and like rolls back. It was like 2 inches, and it was one of the most glorious par saves ever, and it just felt so good. Like being even par at that point, because I know 17 is a birdie hole, 18 I can survive. Like if I parred that hole, I knew I was going under. So hitting that shot, like literally, oh man, it's such a good feeling. And my buddy Nate, if you're listening, you were there, and that was a cool day. He remembers that. It was clutch. Liam?
I don't know. I got so many, like, I got a few eagle holdouts. I got a few bunker shots. One of the coolest ones, I think, I don't know, I had like a 50-yard bunker shot, and I like dunked it.
Oh, you dunked it?
Yeah, that was cool just because, like, you never see that.
Yeah, no, you
And
just goes right in.
It was a super spinny bunker shot, and at first I was like, well, it's going to spin, and maybe even spin back, but, like, it landed just right in. Hit
That's
the flag.
filthy.
I don't know. But if not that, then maybe a few of my eagle holdouts. I have 2 from like 140-ish yards, 150 yards. So.
See, I've never held out from like over like 140. I've held out like wedge shots, but I've never like held out with an iron. I've been close, but I haven't.
Yeah.
That's filthy.
I think my best shot was, it was during a match, and this was like
either practice or high school.
High school. And I was a junior, and I was like, it was on the 7th hole of my home course, and my coach was watching this guy. Like, I usually it's a pretty easy par 3, and smacked my pitching wedge right up, and this thing bounced like, I didn't really have the best backspin at the end of that, but I banged it, bounced right before the whole roll, and just went a little in and out. And I was so pissed. And I was like, that would have been my hole-in-one. That was like my only chance of that was close. That was just straight luck. Damn. And I just wasn't on my side. But I made birdie putt, thankfully.
I've had my fair share of like lipped hole-outs, like hole-in-one shots. I've lipped out a few. It's brutal.
But yeah. I think that's the end of the questions.
Yeah, that's the end of the questions.
Matt, thanks for joining us. Feel free.
Yes. Yeah, guys.
And I might be back on it. Is the golf team is my golf team, so I might have to make another appearance. I say my golf team, our golf team.
He will be in many future videos.
Future videos to come. Guys, third episode in the books.
Yeah. And the only thing I can say is I wish the calf was open.
Man, Matt, being our first guest, thank you for coming out, guys. Show some love for Matt. Liam, thank you as always.
Thank you, everyone, for
Thank you, everybody, for showing up. If you listen this far, you have our socials in the description here on YouTube and Spotify.
Donation links.
Also up. If you'd like to help us out, being broke college students, it helps. Having a little bit of a budget to play with and to make this stuff a little bit easier, a little bit better. Stay tuned for our first on-course video this upcoming Friday, and then another podcast to come. Yeah, we got a lot of stuff in the works. Golf season's coming soon, so stay tuned for everything. Thank you for coming out, guys, and cheers. Any last words? Yeah, cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.